fourth nerdy Harrison Ford. Because I thought like Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Deckard, and then who would the fourth like Indiana Jones?
According to Comic-Con, Jack Ryan.
Oh yeah, Jack Ryan.
All right, where we are.
What is that?
I know where it's at. The official tomb. Cliff, places.
Yes, sir. Can I please
Last
remove
looks.
that stool?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can just put it behind you.
Yep. You do not have to sit on it just because it's there.
Do you have any idea where the tops to the surfboard are, not the floor ones? No, I'm not. No.
Here are.
This thing weighs more than I do.
Would be if Martin finishes his fucking book. Fuck the rest of it. All he needs to do is finish the book.
Lord of the Rings.
I mean, before the Big Mac attack actually takes his coronary off to the seventh heaven, he needs to finish the fucking seventh book.
Totoro hat.
I know.
So cute.
Pardon my français.
Hey, this is more annoyed than I've ever seen in my life, ever.
I don't ever do F-bombs unless I know I'm off the air. Am I off the air? Oh no! Oh no! Live F-bombs. I didn't mean to do that live on the air. But since we're talking about it,
Bag of goodies that you can go through.
Comic-Con bag of
I meant
goodies.
to bring mine, and I forgot all about it.
Are we kidding?
I do have a pin in there from Cloak and Dagger I could show.
Hello, everybody. Hi. What's going on here? Oh. Don't do it.
Woo!
Don't do it. Well, now we did it. We did it and we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the OneRing.net. You're here for our Torn Tuesday live stream show, and you know that already because you're here. Welcome
watching.
aboard, everybody, live at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. This is the OneRing.net, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce my lovely co-host. This is Chelsea Schwartz.
Hello, everyone.
From High Voltage Mag, the uncool rock star. Actually, I think you're one of the cooler of the rock stars that I know.
That's the running joke.
Here's the running joke. The uncool rock star on Twitter. You can find me, QuickBeam2000. My name is Clifford Broadway. It's not really two
when you
Cliffords.
made
It's only one.
QuickBeam 2000, was it the year 2000, or did that stand for something else?
And well, no, it's just because QuickBeam was not available for most other social media, and I just turned myself into the habit of sticking 2000 on it. Because there was back in the year 2000, it was the only time.
2000.
Yeah, I was getting a. What is that on Conan O'Brien?
On Conan, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Year 2000. I know.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anyways, I'm QuickBeam2000 on Instagram and social media, on Twitter. My real name in real life is Clifford Broadway, the writer and the producer of Ringer's Lord of the Fans, and right here, Miss Chelsea Schwartz is responsible for bringing you highvoltage.com.
If you want to check out High Voltage, I am highvoltage.com, and you can find us on Twitter at High Voltage Mag, Instagram High Voltage Magazine. We cover all sorts of nerdy things.
We do indeed. All kinds of super nerd things, and it's exciting, to be here. It's an exciting time
really
to be a geek, isn't it?
Yep, that's why I dressed up in my Outlander attire.
Ah, that's the plaid. That explains the plaid. Graham McTavish, if you're watching, this is actual plaid.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
It's actually from the Outlander collection
You'd be
from
proud.
Hot Topic.
You'd be proud. So, live on the air, doing a live stream show.
The 2 days after San Diego Comic-Con.
Do you believe that Comic-Con was just, ladies? Are you over there? We've got the peanut gallery hobnobbing over there. Comic-Con was just 48 hours ago, and I still can't believe it. I cannot.
It was a really weird year, though.
Wasn't it a different year? Did it feel like it was a bit of an odd year?
It was a very odd year. I didn't see as much cosplay, which
Mm-hmm.
there's. Yeah. There. No. Hannah was like, I thought it was the only one. No, literally, everybody I talked to, we barely saw any cosplay.
Let's try this. Let's try this microphone. You have
Ooh,
to get this.
you have a working
This is
microphone
Hannah.
now.
Introducing Hannah over
I'm
here on the
back.
side. Hey, there's Hannah.
Hello.
Joining us. Hello.
Yes,
My other cool co-star is Hannah Greenwood
Hey,
over
I
there.
don't know where I'm supposed to be. Hello.
Right over
anywhere
there.
and everywhere.
One of those cameras over there. over
Look
here.
at that camera,
doing it
camera. Look
live
at the
over there?
people in the crowd. Just look at us.
This is usually the time when most of us who have been at San Diego Comic-Con sleep for a couple of days.
Or weeks.
We don't eat, we don't do anything but sleep, and then we wake up a couple of days later and we're like, did that just happen? The craziness of Comic-Con is still hanging in the air, like this aftertaste.
Oh,
you know?
first of all, it started off really strong, at least for me. So as part of being there for High Voltage, I have to cover press for the entire event. So I'm interviewing the cast of everything that's there from the beginning of the morning to the end of the night every day. And usually Thursday we have a few interviews, and Friday it's a little bit stronger, and Saturday it's really intense. And Thursday we came out with 17 press rooms right off the bats. And by the time I went to bed on Thursday, I thought I had already been at Comic-Con for 2 months.
Wow. 17 just on the first day?
Just on the first day. And we went for preview night on Wednesday as well, and we actually had appointments starting at 1 p.m. So preview night hadn't even started until 6 or 6:30, and we'd already had 6 hours of Comic-Con, which was crazy. So that was weird for the year. But at the same point, we had all of these meetings, and none of it had the star power or the oomph or the pizzazz that like previous years had. Like a lot of the big shows weren't there, the big properties, like Marvel Studios isn't there, Star Wars isn't there, Game of Thrones was not there, Outlander was not there,
That's right.
Gotham wasn't there. It was a weird year.
In terms of Star Trek films, they would always say that you get the strongest and the best Star Trek movies in the even numbers. Oh, hello.
Nice
What's
little
up with our
feedback
audio?
hum.
It was a ghost.
They say it might. I don't know what it is. It might be some adjustments that they're making. But we're getting a little feedback. But I think you guys can handle it. You know the old story that all the Star Trek movies, that the odd-numbered ones are a mess. The even-numbered Star Trek films are the best, as they say.
I don't know. I'm not into Star Trek, so that's all. On
Really?
you guys.
So
no.
me, it just felt like one of those.
I'm a casual Trekkie, so yeah, I don't.
This Comic-Con for me this year felt like an odd-numbered Star Trek film.
So
Just a little off.
you really enjoyed it then, or?
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed it. Oh, believe me, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I loved the experience of Comic-Con, but it didn't seem like everything was firing with all cylinders firing. You know what I mean? There was something
Absolutely.
a little off. And it's
Even just
hard to describe.
I felt like the foot traffic was even slower on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday than usual. People could walk into Hall H, into Ballroom 20 at like any point. There was actually, I went to the Warner Brothers theatrical panel in Hall H on Saturday, and then ran out because I had to go talk to the cast of Winona Earp. And I get to the press room, I set up my camera, and I look at my phone, and somebody has tweeted a photo of Hall H in that moment, and there was 7 people left. When has that ever happened?
That's really weird. They weren't sitting in there waiting for the next.
No, because again, there wasn't Game of Thrones or anything that they wanted to camp out for all day. And they came out with Warner Brothers theatrical right off the gates in the morning.
And that was it.
Yeah, and then everyone apparently didn't care about the rest of the day.
That is so unusual. You know, they also started to do some things at Comic-Con to do crowd control. Did you guys notice that?
Yes, they stopped allowing people across the street on Harbor unless you had a badge.
That's right. You can't even, and they stopped the shuttles. All the big shuttle buses and the big coaches don't even stop up there at that driveway to ease pedestrian traffic for people coming and going. And even more interesting, major retailers like Funko. You want to get your Funko Pops? You can't do it. You're not even allowed to line up at the booth.
Nope.
They'll say, move along.
It was a lottery you had to do in advance. And, and here's the crazy thing about the lottery. Most of the people that I know did not get any slots for any lottery. Not Hasbro, not Funko, not any of the autographs. And then the people that did got multiple. So their algorithm is off.
That's really weird. That's really, really, really weird.
Know, one thing that I thought... Wait, is this on?
I think we lost Hannah's... Oh, she's kind of there.
There we go. One thing that I thought was really interesting was on Saturday, that's when all the cosplayers like come out with their best costumes and
Usually.
everything like that. Like that's personally like what I do and what I've seen at other cons, and I've gone to cons for multiple years. And there wasn't a lot of cosplay like you guys were saying earlier. That, and then on Sunday was kind of weird because Sunday's normally the slow day of just conventions in general.
And
but
Sunday felt like normal Comic-Con.
it felt a little bit busier. Like, just it felt like Saturday, but slightly more crowded, and everybody was just incredibly grumpy.
Yeah, well,
Like,
because it's the last day, but we were all amped up at that point.
So,
And the thing that was even crazy, so we also made the observation that there wasn't as much free swag, that the activations weren't as exciting and stuff this year as they had been in the past. And then Sunday, all of a sudden, we started to get swag from everybody, and there was giveaways, and the floor was crazier because it was Sunday, and they were all having sales. I was like, so that's to be expected. But yeah, it felt like there was more people, there was more cosplay, and it all, on Sunday, which is usually the day everyone's gone by like noon, which even Comic-Con this year kept programming going, really good programming going, all the way till 4 or 5 p.m.
Oh yeah, like I was gonna stay until 4 for a panel I wanted to go to, but you know, as you guys were saying, like, oh, you know, after a few days, it felt like I was at Comic-Con for like 2 months. I cosplayed as San on Saturday, and like I never like to break character, like take the costume off or go home early, but I had to go early because it was just like drenched in sweat and just miserable.
I actually feel very bad for missing your Princess Mononoke costume, and I really would
I
have
saw
loved
it. Why
that.
didn't you see it? Where were you, Cliff?
I was actually
Because he doesn't like me.
I was
anymore.
actually trying to make a long transit from North Park all the way across town to get down there and see you at the Hasbro booth. I was trying to get some Magic the Gathering cards
Did you end up
from my
getting them?
Magic the Gathering friend.
I think Cliff
And
had the
guess what?
best
They were sold out.
experience going to Comic-Con. He rode in a Tesla to Comic-Con.
Awesome.
What was this about? Tell me more.
Do you guys really want to know? Okay.
Yeah, I do. Like, you were in a Tesla for 3 hours?
The Amtrak was canceled on that bloody Thursday morning to get down there. And I thought, wait a minute, that's a $35 train ride, which is going to end up being a bust, or I'm not even going to get a guarantee to get down there. And I was thinking, heaven forbid, I could not make it down to San Diego on time to do our Friday presentation panel. Instead, I looked at some other options, and Google was really useful. I put in train to San Diego, and what did I find? Other options like a Test Loop. And you know who else was taking it? Sala Baker, Sauron himself. He said, brother, let's go. That's a great idea. Let's do it.
Wait, so there's a carpool Tesla?
It is more than a carpool. It is a unique, like super duper type of an Uber where you pay the fee, reserve your seat in this outrageous futuristic car, and a designated Tesla pilot will take you all the way to your destination.
Is it like a party car?
It was like the party car with the beautiful butterfly doors that open up on the side.
How
you know,
fancy.
and it was super fancy. It was filled with a cooler with expensive snacks and macrobiotic granola bars and
Amazing.
and imported coconut water. And you know what? Why don't you go into the kitchen and fry me a couple eggs while you're at it? This experience, instead of paying $35 for the Amtrak, it was only $39 and change.
I'm going to take one right now.
And were the
Because-
snacks free?
Let's just go somewhere.
Well, the usual price was what, $45 per reserved seat?
Right.
But we got a 20% off coupon for being first-time passengers. So it went down to $39. And I thought, what am I going to do?
But still, $40 is really not that bad at all for what you're describing.
Yep. And we got the ultimate treatment. We had the sing-along. We did carpool karaoke. We ate all the snacks in the whole place. Sala was crazy. And then we had to stop somewhere in like San Juan Capistrano to go to a Tesla supercharger station, which was on the backside of some shopping mall somewhere. And we go up to the Tesla things. It looks like Minority Report, really futuristic, like battery things. And you go to the kiosk, and the driver plugs it in and says, you guys just have a few minutes to go over there and smoke that. Don't get it near the car. Let me recharge the battery. I'll see you in 5. So Sala and I, we disappear around the corner, you know, puff, puff, pass. And then we get back into the car. And the next thing you know, we're in San Diego in style. In style.
That's amazing.
It was so cool. It was
then
really,
me,
really
on
cool.
the other hand, drove down in my friend's Honda Civic, where we had so much gear and equipment that the entire car on the inside was filled, including bags sitting on all of our laps, and the entire trunk was at capacity. So that was my in style to
Oh my
Comic-Con.
God.
And then I took the trolley in every morning with, thousands of other Comic-Con goers.
Honey, why didn't you use your flu powder? Why didn't you just
Saving that for
in the
a special
fireplace?
occasion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my Nimbus 2000 was broken, so I took the Tesla. That's how I felt about it.
There's been some really good comments going on.
Yes.
Somebody was talking about a discovery of witches, and you're right, they do have some big stars attached to that project. I'm really, really looking forward to that. We actually got to talk to that cast and to the author from the entire series, Deborah Harkness. And
She's good.
And when they were coming into Comic-Con, they actually hadn't announced that they had a U.S. distributor for the show. It was only a European show. And now Sundance has picked it up. So Sundance Channel will be airing A Discovery of Witches.
Ooh, that sounds really, 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 really good.
And then somebody else talked about they were really excited for Fantastic Beasts 2. I love that entire series. Were you in the WB theatrical panel? Did you make that?
I was not, no.
Did you make that one, Cliff?
I did not, but I would like
Okay.
to talk about the controversy of having Johnny Depp appear in full character
Grindelwald.
as Grindelwald when only 3 minutes before his ex, Amber Heard, was walking off the stage.
Oh, actually, Amber was later.
She was later? Oh, I
Yep.
thought that she was
No,
on
the,
right
the
before
very
him.
the very first thing they did was Fantastic Beasts.
Okay, then it was
So,
backwards.
What
so
happened?
it started off. They gave everybody in Hall H wristbands. We didn't know what they were for.
Yeah.
And they revealed the massive screens that they've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years now from Warner Brothers. And then on the screen projection, it made it look like we were inside Newt's commander's suitcase.
Ooh.
And Newt opens the suitcase and he looks in and he was like, "Oh, there's a lot of you in there, aren't there? Let's see you." And he takes his wand and he says, "Lumos." And all of our wristbands just light up. And so then all of Hall H now just has this light that's showing. And then the screens go dark and on stage is Eddie Redmayne with his wand and he's doing stuff that's affecting everybody. And
Is he in character?
he wasn't in character. He just had a wand.
Just a wand.
And just showing his powers, and it was lovely. And then
That's
they
so
brought out
cool.
the entire rest of the cast, and Ezra Miller was in full cosplay, and
as a character from Super Mario Kart, right?
yes,
He was the
he was a pink mushroom.
He was,
was-
the female toad.
There's a name for her.
I don't know her
The-
name.
the
All I know
Princess
is that
Toadstool?
she's the female toad.
Guys,
Yeah.
what's the
He
name of
looked-
the princess
He looked
Toadstool?
fabulous.
Who? Tell me, live chat. What is the name of Princess Toadstool on Super Mario? And then tell us, because that was Ezra Miller.
So here's the amazing
Yes.
thing. So now they're doing the panel. They're talking about it. They're talking to Jude Law about how he's hot, young Dumbledore, this, that, and the other. And
Oh, my.
I'm there as press, so I'm shooting photos. I'm throwing my SD card into the reader on my phone, instantly uploading onto Twitter. And
Yes.
I'm just doing a million things. And I finally go, I think I've taken enough photos. I think you can put the camera down and now just get good quotes. And I hear something, and I went, oh my God, Johnny Depp's going to come out in full costume like he did at D23 as Captain Jack Sparrow. And I just had this hunch, and I'm throwing everything back into my camera as Johnny Depp comes out on stage.
Really?
as
Your
Grindelwald.
spidey sense was tingling.
I could
and
just
you're
feel
like,
it, and I was like, I knew it because Johnny Depp does not appear at conventions. This is not something Johnny does. He
No, he
doesn't do
doesn't.
autograph signings. He doesn't do the photo ops. He
Doesn't.
doesn't do anything where he's just talking in a Q&A typically. But he will come, and he likes being part of them. But he wants to act. And so, when he did D23,
Yeah.
he came out as Captain Jack Sparrow with grapes in his hand, and he starts throwing grapes into the crowd and feeding people. And so this time he came out as Grindelwald, and the projections on the screen made it look like a scene from the trailer. And he gave us a full monologue in character,
Wow.
basically giving a political speech of his position and why you should support him and where he stands
Oh.
on muggles.
That might be his monologue from the film.
I think it was.
Wow.
And then he exited, and that was it. He didn't even stay for any panel questions. They didn't talk to him as Grindelwald, and that was it.
That is fascinating to me, but why would people say, oh my gosh, this is so controversial? And why would Warner Brothers be criticized and attacked so strongly for
Yeah.
bringing him out there because he was within 5 cubic feet of
Literally because they
alleged-
were sharing a dressing room space backstage that nobody saw anything controversial happening. Just the entire world wanted to blow up and be like,
the studio
"Oh
said they
my
did
God."
not see each other.
I believe it.
That's
so
odd.
she came out in the very last panel There
Yeah.
was probably 6 or 7 films that they brought out. I was like, and Johnny was in the first one, and Johnny was gone before the rest of the cast even left the stage.
Oh, so there's no way they bumped into each other.
You
No.
know what I find interesting? They try and make controversy of that when there's already controversy about James Gunn and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. When it's like, why are you trying to make controversy if there's already controversy at play? I don't know. I just find that interesting.
It is, indeed. Well, I didn't think there was anything controversial about having him show up at Comic-Con.
I'm just finding this out like for the first
But,
time. So
I mean, there's a lot of fans. Look, there's a lot of fans in Harry Potter fandom who are taking sides and making their voices known about, crimes of Grindelwald, and a lot of people criticizing Warner Brothers for casting
Johnny Depp.
Mr. Johnny Depp. You know what I don't want to see in the future when Amazon starts to do casting for our show, for our big Middle-earth Lord of the Rings show? I'm hoping that we don't have any controversial casting about any of this nonsense, because I don't want that to be part of the conversation. I want to talk about the artwork, the project, the difficulty of adapting Tolkien. The things that really interest us as fans is, how are you taking Professor Tolkien
This is
and making it
something that
into a
I've
workable
always
show?
felt bad.
The rest of it, I don't want to. Yeah.
I've always felt bad about performers and people in the spotlight in general. Musicians, it has the same way of people care more about who they're dating, who they're not dating, what they're driving, what they're wearing, than actually the art itself. I was like, and that's a big thing of people focus on that instead of focusing on what's going on behind the scenes in the actual creative process, which something I was really amazed with my entire high voltage team this year at Comic-Con was we had a huge shift. Whereas like in the last few years, we were always like, oh, I can't wait to talk to the cast of this show and the cast of that and meet this person. This year, we wanted to talk to the producers and the costume designers and the set designers, and like that was where all of our interest was. And we were like, I wonder if we can get a set visit for the Orville later so we can actually see these designs in person. Like that's literally where I'm hoping it's not just us. I'm hoping it's a worldwide shift of people wanting to know more of this process.
Absolutely. I would love that. I would love that shift. But we as fans, we love to get granular about anything and everything that we can. And I'm a big like production wonk. You could talk to me about cameras and lighting effects. You could talk to me about practical effects all day long.
practical effects for the win.
Yes, but the time and the energy that it takes to organize people, resources, as a producer, as an independent film producer myself, and you as a fledgling young director, we understand that juggling those resources is what makes it such an interesting art form. Filmmaking is unlike any other art form because of the weird mix of elements and people and things that have to be put together so precisely. And then put all that shit aside. None of it matters until you get in the editing room. Then the real magic happens.
Oh, yeah.
Then the real filmmaking happens in the editing room. So editors, therefore, are sometimes my favorite people to interview, don't you think?
I used to sit. I was part of the writing team for Brand X with Russell Brand, and our editorial team. Just I would sit there in the editing bay with our editors for hours when I was just on downtime, or even when we were done for the day, just watching them go. It's so fascinating.
Yep, they have the most difficult job of all, the poor editors. Look at all the stuff that's going on the live chat.
So much
Hey guys, well, as we remind the audience, this is live. You want to participate? You can do one of three things. Text us live on that hotline, 530-64-FRODO. And that goes right to the hotline. We have it right here. Justin, our producer, where is he? He's somewhere. We'll get this on the
I'm
hotline.
here somewhere.
Yeah, there he is. I hear his voice, the disembodied voice of God. And then we also have
Hannah,
guests who are live. If you can't call in on the hotline, then come in to Scum and Villainy Cantina, right, with these hardworking folks all behind the scenes. Big round of applause for JC and the staff of Scum and Villainy. You guys get to work. Gosh, I know. I'm so happy to be here.
Demanding, Cliff.
And the third thing, if you don't come in person to be here with us live, you can Skype, and we'll bring you in full frame right into the conversation. You can join us, and always on YouTube, Facebook, Ustream,
We're reading your comments. We want to hear
Twitter,
from you.
Periscope. We're live. We're everywhere live. Good to have you guys with us. Thanks for being on the show.
So back to more generic Comic-Con stuff. What was your highlight of Comic-Con for both Hannah and Cliff?
All right.
Oh, okay.
Go, Hannah.
Oh,
Oh my
okay.
gosh. Look at
Cool.
this stuff in here.
Actually, I have two. I would probably say just being in the Steven Universe panel was really cool.
Ooh, was that a good Steven Universe
They
presentation?
released. Oh yeah. All I'm gonna say is White Diamond.
Ah, okay. Don't
The
say anymore.
episode's up already. If you want to go
Steven
watch it.
Universe
gosh.
is the best TV show on cartoons. Best animated TV show, period, right now.
Yes.
It is perfect for all ages. There's something you can enjoy as a single, zero, no kids man. And there's something parents can enjoy. And there's something everyone can enjoy on Steven Universe.
I'm suddenly, my demographic is single, zero, no kids, man. Is that my demographic now?
That's your graphic.
I guess.
What the hell?
I mean, Justin just said it.
I'm single, zero, no kids woman. So is that the same demographic then?
Yeah, what?
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 What? You don't have to be a kid to enjoy Steven Universe.
I
That's
hear
what I'm
that.
saying.
I haven't
agree.
tried it.
You haven't tried
I
it?
haven't seen any Steven. I haven't even
It's
seen a
good.
trailer.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you have to have a particular taste for that kind of stuff. Like, if you like Wes Anderson, then you'll enjoy
Yeah.
that.
There's
There-
a
there-
lot
I hear
of
great
jokes.
things.
There is a lot of characterization going on. Don't let the simplicity of the animation designs fool you. The characterization is so good. The overall world building is so carefully threaded through. It's not ham-fisted. The show is never overwrought. It is always funny, light on its feet. But the best thing about Steven Universe is that the adventure, the sense of adventure and discovery with these characters is so fun.
Yeah, and the
highly recommended.
relatability as
Highly
well.
recommended. But is it the best thing on Cartoon Network?
Well,
Is
at
it
the
really?
moment it is.
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
And there were a ton of cosplayers.
Yeah, there
and-
were. There
but
were.
I
Yeah.
can't name any other show currently on Cartoon Network.
Over the Garden Wall.
That's
I've
a good
never
one.
heard of that.
But Steven
Very
Universe
good with
is
Tim
better.
Curry. One of the last things that the late, well, he's not dead
He's
yet.
not- I was gonna
He's not
say he
dead
did
yet,
not die.
But I guarantee you it will be remembered. His weird voice work on Over the Garden Wall will be remembered. Tim Curry.
One of the most
really cool.
memorable things
Why
of
would you
Comic-Con.
say late for Tim Curry?
'Cause I was
Leave
gonna
the poor man alone.
'Cause
Seriously, no
I'm
jinxing
sorry.
anything. Find some wood.
Don't, Cliff.
You guys are
Don't.
just.
If he dies today, I'm blaming you.
Yeah,
Don't.
I'm gonna blame you as well.
Cliff.
You get two
Don't.
people blaming you.
I do have to say,
Nice
somebody's
job,
talking
Cliff.
about Spirited Away in the chat, and I do.
No,
I
don't
love
trigger
Miyazaki.
Cliff. Anything with Miyazaki.
I was actually
it's
gonna.
a
I was gonna
trigger.
wear a Spirited Away shirt today, and now I'm sad that I didn't because people are talking about
Oh
it. And
my
you
God.
wore Totoro, and
I'm wearing the Twitter hat, but we can talk
Yeah.
about Masters of the Universe instead if you want to talk about my Japanese Skeletor
No,
shirt.
no. Let's talk about the most important thing I saw at Comic-Con.
yes, we still need to hear Justin's and
Doctor
Cliff's
Who.
highlights.
Nobody asked me what was my favorite thing at
yes,
Comic-Con.
I
Because you
did.
were there
I
the
directly
least,
asked.
You get the last comment.
Oh.
I actually
Gosh.
said the question was for you and Hannah initially. I did
Yeah,
say
and
that.
Thank
then
you,
I
yes.
offered it up to you like a gentle woman.
You
but
did,
then you
thank
were
you,
all
thank
like,
you.
"Oh no, you go
All right,
ahead."
but I wanted to interject that. I do love Steven Universe. I do. But you know what? The best and most wonderful thing at Comic-Con was that party at the Westgate Hotel with Doug Jones and Oscar winner, executive producer of The Lord of the Rings, Mark Odesky, and all these wonderful friends and people that
You're
we know
forgetting
from
the
New
most
Zealand.
important person there.
Cry.
That was one of the highlights.
George R.R. Martin.
That was not
was
George
seated-
R.R.
was
Martin.
seated right there.
I
was
didn't
not him.
realize he was at Comic-Con.
That was not him.
Yeah, he was
didn't
incognito.
come by any of the Deadly Class
he was
stuff.
incognito. He was in cosplay.
It was not him.
It was him.
The guy at the Westgate,
him.
I got a close look at him. It was not Mr. Martin.
we
if it
forget
had
about
been-
plenty of
George R.
people that
Martin.
look like
Doug
him.
Jones, though.
If it had been Martin,
Yeah,
I would have
Doug
walked
Jones.
up to him and I said, "Finish the damn book. Get to work. You're not supposed to be at this party.
No,
Go right."
no.
I would have said that to him.
Cliff
And then
is
he's just
really
gonna
upset that
prolong
George
it.
R.R. Martin has not finished this book. Like, I've never seen Cliff more upset about anything in
There
my
are
life.
Oh, I have.
there are things that nerds need, and one of them is for Mr. Martin to get off of his derriere and write that book. Thank you.
Oh, Tiffany is watching. Tiffany
Oh,
runs
hey.
at Disney Observer with me on Instagram. If you guys are Disney fanatics, you should follow us because we do all the Disney things. Hi,
What's
Tiffany.
what's the Disney thing where you cosplay at the park?
Disney Bound.
Disney Bound.
Yeah, so-
where does that name come from?
So it's actually not a cosplay. It's just using the color palette of the characters in like your style of fashion. So whatever fashion you like to do. So it's just, that's why it's bounding.
What bounding?
Yep, Disney bound.
But maybe I missed the definition of bounding.
I don't actually know where the terminology came from. I just got to know it as a thing the way that I got to know that cosplay was a thing.
I thought it was just outfits inspired by your favorite Disney characters.
But it's within the color palette. So you're following. So
okay.
like Mickey is black on top with like red.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Because I know it's branched out to other fandoms. Like if you go on Pinterest.
Oh yeah, you can find
like,
DC bounds and all sorts of stuff now.
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings as well.
Yep.
When I was younger. Yeah.
Yep.
One other major experience we had at Comic-Con was that the OneRing.net had about thousands, 4,000, 10,000 people, 15,000 people. I'm going to aggrandize that number
20,000.
until somebody stops me.
15 million people.
There was a Googleplex.
A billion people.
Take 18 million and
Googleplex.
add a few more
Trillion.
zeros. Our panel presentation for the Return to Middle-earth was the biggest success we've had in 19 years.
That's because ringers are starved for anything right now.
Me too. Me too. That's what's in the bag.
Especially
We're
the
very
Leonard
passionate.
Nimoy.
Justin, we didn't get Justin's highlight of Comic-Con. He
That's 'cause
disappeared.
He ran away.
He was
on,
like, I
Justin,
don't
what?
actually
Doesn't
have
wanna
any
talk
highlights.
about it.
My highlight was Peppa Pig.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It was
Who?
what?
Peppa Pig.
Peppa
What is
Pig,
Peppa
the
Pig?
original,
Oh my God, you don't know what Peppa Pig is?
No, what is
I know
Peppa
who
Pig?
Peppa Pig is.
the
but
original
Hannah.
gangster. I met her, my idol.
You got a
Really?
picture with her.
Yeah.
You got your picture taken with Peppa Pig?
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Peppa
It's
Pig.
great.
How could
Somebody fill me
How could
in
you
on
miss
Peppa
that?
Pig.
All right, you
I
explain.
thought you were my friend.
Hannah,
Okay.
explain Peppa Pig for those who don't know.
Yes,
Okay.
Hannah. Please.
Okay, as soon as I stop dying from laughter, I'll tell you. Peppa Pig is probably the most hardcore gangster out there for your children to watch. I finally got to meet her.
Me too.
Okay,
Me too.
again, is this from like a TV show or a cartoon
It's
or
a
what?
cartoon for like very, very young kids. It
And-
teaches
and it's
them
from
the
where?
good life. I don't know.
Like it
where.
aired where?
Oh my
what
God.
channel?
I think like what, Nickelodeon?
Or
Yeah.
YouTube. Everything's on YouTube.
I don't
Peppa
know.
Pig is a great children's
Interesting.
character. Hey, big shout out in the live chat. My stepmom, Darlene. Hi, Dar. How you doing? My family is like, thank you. It's funny. My
I
family's
hope the
coming
chat
in
room gives
to
us a
pester me in the
thumbs
chat.
up if they know who Peppa Pig is.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys know who
People
Peppa
are
Pig
talking
is,
about it. A
if
couple
you're
of people
a Peppa
know.
Pig fan, put pig emojis. Do it.
Peppa Pig is like Noddy. Noddy, is that another children's character that they have, Sarah?
I don't know who that is.
That's a British character, I think. Now, here's the thing. This cosplay, no, pictures or it didn't happen. So show me the pictures.
Okay, it's up
All right.
on my
And
Instagram.
here come
you
the
follow me.
photos.
Oh, it's on your IG?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram.
your
I thought we
IG.
were friends, Cliff.
I thought that the algorithm would feed your IG right to me, but it doesn't. I have to find you. Sorry.
I'm
I'm
trying to think of
sad.
what my highlight of Comic-Con was, and I can't even figure. Everything was like just the same. Like there was nothing stood out above anything else.
Did you get into that lucky interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson
No,
and
no, we didn't.
Seth MacFarlane?
No, I wish we had
Oh,
gotten into
dude, I wanted to be in that interview
We-
so bad.
We tried for Cosmos. Cosmos was full. We got it. We got into Orville, and Seth MacFarlane came and spoke to one outlet and left.
He's a busy man.
He is a busy man. He had
He's-
like 4 shows there.
4? Yeah, he's producing, I was going to say, he's
Yeah.
producing 23 different shows at the same time, you
Yeah.
know.
Wait,
and
for
and
real?
slowly and carefully going to war
Seth
with his
MacFarlane?
own network, Fox, which I find very interesting that he's doing that.
Seth MacFarlane. Did you watch the Orville at all?
No.
Otherwise, you'll only know his voice from a bunch of animations.
Yeah, I know who he
Oh,
is.
don't
but
make me smack you down, millennial girl. Do not make me come over there and smack you down. Who is Seth MacFarlane?
I know who Seth MacFarlane is. Okay.
So I got
Okay.
ragged
Totally.
for Peppa Pig, but Seth
Totally.
MacFarlane. Okay.
Because
A friend of
both
mine that I
them
went to
are
high school with
gangsters.
just posted a bunch of pig emojis for you, so she'll probably
No.
yell at me later for not knowing Peppa Pig.
Heck yeah.
What's your IG, Hannah?
Baggins is here.
Oh, that's right. Baggins is here. There you
There's
are.
my shameless plug-in.
That's
So,
right, Baggins is
go
here.
follow me.
Oh my
There's nothing
gosh.
shameless about giving out your IG on the OneRing.net.
My IG is QuickBeam2000.
There's
Please
no
stalk
shame.
me.
Mine's
I want
Uncool
stalker
Rockstar.
fans. Please, stalker fans. Please. Stalkers? I'd be lucky
Cliff's
to get
like, I'd really like a stalker.
I'd like a
please."
stand, please.
Oh, you know who I got to interview? Speaking of space,
Who?
and the astronauts from the Mars
From the Mars
show
thing? Oh, yeah, we
on-
talked to them.
Ron Howard produced with
Yeah.
and Andy Weir,
Yeah.
the author of The Martian, and they had a couple astronauts and stuff.
Yeah,
so they had
that
these
was
big,
fun.
this big round
Oh,
table,
wow.
and the press was going around, and there's like CNN and Entertainment Tonight and IGN. Everyone's asking like these really great questions about like, do we have the science to go to Mars, and what do you think? And so it gets to me on the round table. It's kind of looks like this, and it's like your turn to ask a question. I say, would you live on Mars or Middle Earth?
You did not. Dude, that's actually
Okay.
pretty
And
good.
everybody across the
pretty
board,
good.
Andy Weir
But that's-
busted up laughing, and all the actors, and even the astronaut, and a guy
Yep.
that's actually been to space, he
Really?
said, "Hell no, I don't want to live on Mars.
Yeah.
Middle Earth's
Hell
awesome."
yeah.
Oh, dude, thank you for doing that. That is so
It
good.
was so much fun talking to those people. We're gonna have the interview up on the OneRing.net, but that's
Oh,
one
yes.
person I wanted to meet
Oh,
was like
thank
someone that's
God.
actually been to space.
Yes.
There
Like,
you go.
So
Did you go to the National Geographic party where they were giving a bunch of talks and stuff too?
yeah.
Super
it was
fun.
So
there was
good.
also the Project Blue Book activation at Petco Park. You could actually physically send a message into space.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool.
You know,
That was
Super
really
cool.
cool.
I feel like last year had the best activations where
Yes.
Legion, you could get a 23andMe DNA test.
Yeah, no, that wasn't Legion. That was for the gifted.
That was for the gifted,
and
right.
that was amazing. That was $100
Oh.
DNA
$100
test, and they gave
freebie.
away thousands of them.
And then Westworld, of course, had an activation.
And now they're
Game
keeping
of
genetic
Thrones.
files on all of those unwitting participants who gave their DNA away.
I gave
They're
my
gonna hunt
DNA,
it.
and I found so
Oh.
much about my background. I'm okay with it.
I'm
By
sorry,
the
I'm
way,
gonna get
I'm
all-
really happy that Josh doesn't know who Peppa Pig is either. So
Don't
at
be
least
shy,
there's someone
ladies.
else in our ringer
You
team.
guys should know who Peppa Pig is.
Peppa Pig
I'm telling
will
you, I'm
change
going to
your
get
life.
all Aldous
The
Huxley.
fact that Peppa
I'm not
Pig
giving my
came to
DNA away.
Comic-Con for the first time and Peppa Pig was there to take photo ops and it didn't cost you anything, that was
And
like...
you got free ears afterwards. That's the deal
You got
right
pig
there.
ears?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Okay, I'm a little jealous of that.
It was so
We
good.
gotta
That's
wear
fun.
them next time.
Yeah.
I think my
You better
favorite
wear yours.
activation this year. Well, there was two things I really liked. One, the Cloak and Dagger activation. While it wasn't like a big wow thing, the little video it produced was cool. But the actual stunt experience itself was awesome. So for those that weren't at Comic-Con, Cloak and Dagger, basically, which is a Marvel TV show on Freeform. There's a scene where Cloak and Dagger touch in a church, and their powers cause like an explosion that pulls them both apart. So you got to do this in the activation, where they actually had you harnessed in, and then you went to touch your friend's hand, and the harness is pulled back, and it was a lot of fun. So I weigh 99 pounds. I went flying.
Oh man, you did that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
You did that? It's basically a thing where if like in the show, like something a magical explosion and people go flying away.
Yeah.
So they hook you up with like
In the harness
pulleys.
and everything.
They
Yep.
put you on harness and then the photo op, it's you being jerked away.
Yep, which
like-
you can see on my Instagram. We
sounds
posted the
scary.
finalized with the branded image and the special effects on Disney Observer. But my friend also took a boomerang of us that doesn't have the special effects that I put on Uncle Rockstar. And literally, if you watch it, pay attention to my legs. I look like I have a really good cheerleader pike. Like my legs just come flying up. Like it was amazing. So that was just a lot of fun.
I wish
But
I'd seen
then
that.
the Jack Ryan experience, which is not the Jack Ryan photo op that you saw,
Yep.
was incredible.
Now what was involved? Jack Ryan is a show on Amazon
That premieres in August.
starring
It's set in the Middle
guy
East.
from
I don't remember.
The Office.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize the guy. I've never seen The Office, so I can't back that one up. But so you walked in and you got an ID badge for the company you're supposed to be from, and there were several different stations. One of them was a hyper reality station where they put you in a full virtual reality headgear, and then they had live actors around you and actual obstacles you had to interact with. So while you're in this virtual reality space, it wasn't augmented reality. You're seeing the virtual reality world, but you're running through the real world of obstacles. And you had to jump out of a helicopter, run across a bridge, and then go down a zip line, run into a Jeep, and drive away. And even the Jeep itself was simulated with like various hydraulics to make it feel like you were going and whatnot. And you had actors yelling at you in your ear, but you had the virtual reality thing happening. And it was this very intense fun adventure.
I heard you win actual money.
So that was in the other part of the activation. So that's the hyper reality experience. The other activation was an escape room, a full-on escape room, which was super fun. They let 10 people in at a time.
Ooh.
And if you got out of the first room, there was 3 rooms. The first room drops money from the ceiling. And half of it was fake bills, half of it was real. And so, of course, it's falling, and half of the people in my group were like, that's not real. Why are you grabbing it, Chelsea? And I'm like, that's a real dollar bill right there. And I was like, so me and my roommate, Trina, both walked away with real money, and everybody else was like, I should have grabbed the money.
Speaking of activations, Cliff, let's go into our Magic Comic-Con bag and pull out the orange piece of paper. There's an orange piece of paper.
Oh, yes, here it is.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, we're going to talk about the worst activation of
From
Comic-Con.
the best activation, I went to the Amazon activation.
It was,
Because
so this
we
is the
have a natural
Amazon
interest.
Fire TV activation
Now,
called
was-
Fast Forward to the Future.
This was a giant. So Fire TV is the devices that will let you watch Lord of the Rings
Yes.
on Amazon Prime. So it's
And
really
it's a little
important.
stick that connects to any USB, any TV that has a USB. It just needs Wi-Fi, and you can literally bring it with you anywhere.
Yeah.
And
what this
you
is?
can watch live TV on it, or you can watch any of your apps. And so this was Amazon's giant sales pitch for
The
Fire
only way
TV.
to watch Lord of the Rings is to have a Fire TV or a Fire TV device.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you will need that to access Amazon. I guess they're on other things like Roku's and stuff like that, but
course.
Amazon. So
course.
they had this huge activation tent, massive. It took
Yeah.
up a whole parking lot.
and with 9 stations on the inside.
They come in and look at that piece of paper, Cliff.
trying to
Look at
figure
the
out-
map on the
there's
back.
a
It says hours of
no,
operation, and on the back
So
there's
this
a
is the inside. This is the map with the 9 stations that you
welcome.
can visit.
Welcome
the
to a
fanny
world
pack.
reimagined. Here's my voiceover voice. Welcome to a world reimagined around an age of cordless interconnectivity, where quirky installations of upcycled devices shape a new type of neighborhood. None of that makes a damn lick of sense.
It didn't make sense in person either.
What
So
is this?
You,
A device garden, and then what?
Yeah, you stand in line for 20 minutes in the hot sun. They don't offer you water. Then you check in. They give you an RFID bracelet. Then you stand in another line to get in, and then they say, "Welcome to the future." And then they hand you that map, and you go in, and it's literally like a bunch of things, places to check in with your RFID bracelet.
Right.
And every single station had the same exact script. This is a TV with Fire TV built in.
So
this is a box.
it was basically like a timeshare program where you walked in and like they're constantly trying to sell you this timeshare known as Fire TV. And every station bills it like they're going to show you a unique part of Fire TV that you haven't seen at the other 8 stations you've already been to. And the thing that killed me the most is they sent me this email in advance for our press preview that this was going to be the future of television. There was nothing futuristic about the Fire TV.
There was nothing futuristic. And then they kept telling you, make sure you check in at all of the stations. Do not leave without checking in so you can get your cool prize.
Right. And I only checked in at 4 of the stations, by the way. And I still, at the end of it, they're like, wow, congratulations, you went to everything. And I was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then the cool prize at the end was a fanny pack.
Hey, man, at least it's a fanny
And you
pack.
could get it in orange or in bright pink. The bright pink one said
And
living
here
the
I
stream.
I thought I just spent an hour going to all their stupid workstations and checking in on, and listening to their shame spiel 9
Yeah.
times. And I thought a Fire TV thing would
But
be
did you try
inside.
any of the mocktails?
No, there was a line for that. I couldn't be bothered.
Do you know, that would be brilliant. Compared to giving away a $100 DNA test, imagine you get a fanny pack and inside is the Fire
If
Stick.
Fox can give
yeah,
away
that would
a
be great.
$100
They did give away
Saved
some
me
Fire
85
Sticks
bucks.
at the Jack Ryan experience, though.
Stupid.
and if they can give away cash money at
Yep.
the Jack Ryan, why don't they give you a $20 Fire Stick
And
for
of
free?
course, the photo
It
ops that
costs
were
more than that.
inside was the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones,
They
which
had that.
everybody has taken a photo with 400 times
Which isn't
now.
even an Amazon series.
Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It says here on the list, it says, that's right, the Iron Throne is here. But it wasn't your
And
bloody
what's not
show,
on the
Amazon.
list is they also had a Westworld thing that you could take a photo and like a Westworld.
yeah, with a
so
bunch of hats.
it was
Basically-
basically like HBO was like, we don't really feel like coming to Comic-Con, but
Pass this
maybe
to you.
we should bring some of our properties there.
It was it was an hour's worth of work, plus it was a long walk in the hot sun
For nothing.
and, for a fanny pack, a bright orange fanny pack that
Not
I'm
to mention
never
that
gonna wear.
this activation was so much further away into
than
Gaslamp.
everything else.
Yeah.
Well-
so
Yeah.
you literally had to want to go to this, like to
Really?
make the effort, and then you get there and you're like, really?
And
Okay.
look, if this is if that Fire TV Comic-Con, if this is the best of Amazon, Comic-Con is the Super Bowl for geekdom, and it's the home of Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
As far as like press announcements.
Yes.
If this is the best Amazon can do, I am now really, really nervous because not only was this
fair
stupid
to
and
say.
boring
That's
and
fair.
a lot of work, but every single TV had high frame rate, smooth motion on. So
the smoothing
every
was really
they were
bothering
showing
me.
Game of Thrones, and it looked like The Hobbit in high frame rate.
Ooh.
Nobody wants that.
Here's my
Wait,
counter
really?
for that, though, is that this was Amazon
gross.
Fire TV, which is a real retail portion of Amazon. It had nothing to do with the studios. I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
if-
so the studios spent their money on the Jack Ryan experience. I was like, which every part of Amazon has a different property and is controlled somewhere else. Like Audible is separate than everything else. So I don't think that judging the Fire TV timeshare is worth judging
Okay.
what
But
the studios
Fire
are going to
TV
do.
is the only way we'll be able to access.
You can
Lord
watch
of
it on
Rings.
the Amazon app on instant video, which I have on my PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah, you could just.
Okay, thank
No,
goodness.
there's
Because
also-
it made me pause. I've been very enthusiastic about Amazon committing $1 billion to Lord of the Rings, but that Fire TV thing.
you know
was
what?
a
I think
waste of my
JC needs
time.
to say something.
I will go ahead, JC.
I'm going to throw my weight in with Justin here. High frame rate is terrible. Although Amazon Prime does have an Apple TV app now.
Yeah,
and,
they do.
And look, if you're putting on an activation at Comic-Con, somebody from Amazon should walk up there, look at the garbage that they're using to represent your brand and say, fix this now. Even if you don't understand why it
better
looks
fix it
bad,
now.
like, you know, you're paying how much? $50,000, $100,000 to that ad agency for that activation. Like, somebody needs to be accountable, and an Amazon employee who gets an Amazon paycheck needs to be feet on the ground there to be like, this isn't what we paid for.
Agreed. Now, to that point, I was just going to say, Jeff Bezos is making $1 billion every other month, right? By my estimates.
Personally.
Oh, this
By
is
my
exciting.
estimates.
Did you see that somebody missed out on the OneRing.net panel because it was at capacity?
Yeah, we
Yep,
had
that's
a
There
few
were
people.
so
That's
many
true.
people. In fact,
Yeah.
there's many cosplay
Okay,
groups
can
that
I finish
showed
my
up.
sentence?
Yes.
Thank
No.
you. God. I was just going to say.
We've moved on already.
Well, no, I've been trying to talk for 7 minutes and everyone's talking
Let him
over me,
finish.
so
How
I'm going
does
to just
it
talk.
feel?
It's
How
my
does it
show.
feel?
I'm going to talk. Thank you. All right. God,
The floor is yours.
if Amazon, totally correct, JC, if Amazon can throw that much money at a TV show and they can't do a piece of marketing at Comic-Con and they can't even do it right, then that does not smell good. That, just like you just said, this makes me nervous too. And there's more than nerves going on because there's not a more important piece of marketing than the marketing you put out at Comic-Con. It's the single
I know, this
most
is
important piece of marketing you'll ever do.
all year
ever.
long, and this is what we
no.
got. We had to do work.
This is gorgeous,
We
man.
had to do. This is work. This felt like work.
Yes, no, it really did. And I'm not kidding when I keep saying timeshare, because that's literally, they would lock you into a room and give you a lecture about the Fire TV.
Hey, Amazon.
No.
I'm not kidding.
No.
I'm like, literally, you had to go into different rooms. They'd close the door behind you, and they'd be like, all right, we're going to teach you how the Fire TV works and teach you all. And you just couldn't leave until they finished their presentation.
Do you remember the most successful marketing that they ever did for a Lord of the Rings game when they had an activation at that open parking lot way out on the side of the Gaslamp district, and they had the Tower of Barad-dûr up on the side of the building on this massive mural, and what people did is registered their cell phone numbers so they could enter into the area, and then that means you'd be registered as a possible person that the artificial intelligence could find you, target you as the winner in the audience. Remember that?
Yeah, they had a giant spotlight
so
at
cool.
night, and so it
So
knew
cool.
when you checked in because if you pre-registered, so the spotlight would come on you, and it felt like the eye of Sauron was staring.
And it would say, "I see you."
That is awesome.
That was ridiculously good.
But
Don't put
Amazon,
that back
do
in the
better.
bag. We gotta
show
everyone.
Do better.
Can I put my 2 cents in really quick?
Please do, darling.
Okay, I didn't go to the experience because I didn't go to a lot of the outside stuff, but because it was just really hot. But I don't know. I just think that's kind of lame. At least you gave out fanny packs, so I mean, good on you.
No, not good. Put a Fire TV
I said
stick.
I do have to say though
At the
that it
very
was so
least.
bad that it's caused a reaction that you felt several days later, the need to talk about it, and we've now plugged the Amazon Fire TV stick how many times?
Yes.
Okay.
So now let's talk about something good.
Yeah, instead of bad marketing,
Let's
let's
talk
talk
about this
about
gorgeous exclusive.
really good marketing. This is where mini epics are starting to really up their game in the Funko Pop collectible universe.
Weta Workshop has created its own line
Yes.
of toy collectibles. Everyone remembers Frodo.
See this?
So
The
this
mini
year,
epics, I'm sorry
they
for
came
reaching.
out with Gold Gandalf. Do you want to unbox it?
No, you.
No, don't. You gonna unbox that?
Yeah.
Don't take it out of the box.
We have
Wha-
this
wait, why?
beautiful
It's
Frodo.
more valuable in the
It
box.
is much more valuable. We have the
Wait,
golden Gandalf.
Do Tolkien fans keep things in the box?
I
thought
do.
that was a
I
Star
don't.
Wars thing.
No, every fan that collects collectibles says Zach really needs this Frodo.
I
Not
have-
Lord of the Rings fans. We take them out and put
This-
them on shelves for
Yeah,
display.
I'm
This
with-
Frodo
I'm
thing
with
is so
Justin on
awesome.
this.
We had that Frodo here, and someone came in here and stole our Frodo. He's missing.
You're kidding.
Yeah, Schmiegel came in here, took him, and he's gone now.
Your Frodo mini
We
epics.
had
was
that
Frodo-
exact Frodo that I got in a loot crate, and I got it from Loot Crate, and he was hiding in our bar, and some man stole him.
Can you guys see this?
Oh my
This
gosh.
is, we're gonna pass this around to everybody.
Maybe
I
he's
want
just
that
wearing the
Frodo.
ring right
This was
now.
created
Maybe
I didn't
by
know that they were
Weta.
making these. I want that Frodo.
This is where Weta in New Zealand, Weta Workshop, are still licensing and building a new line of collectibles, and the golden Gandalf
the Golden Gandalf.
is so cool. But what was even cooler was the life-size Gandalf that was based on the original. It was
I
about
felt like a hobbit
7.5
compared
feet
to real
tall.
life-size Gandalf.
and it looked just like Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
It looked just like him.
In a cartoon form.
I'd like to
In the
say that people
cartoon,
in the
yeah.
chat are saying I keep my stuff in the box in all caps.
Wait, people in the chat
Why?
room.
Why
Look,
don't you
your
take it
Lord of the Rings
out?
collectibles. I've seen the pictures online. People are proud to show off their collectibles on the shelf, not in the box.
Once
You take
again.
them out of the box. You assemble them. You put them
Well,
on display.
speaking for
I'm
myself,
with Justin on this.
Yeah.
I do have some original 2001 Toy Biz action figures
Me
of
too, still in the box.
Gollum, Samwise, and the Gandalf the Grey, autographed by Ian, still in the box. And because Ian
the
autographed it,
box.
I'm never, ever going to take
my
that out.
Chicago apartment, I had all of them on the walls in the box.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, people would line them
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yep. In the box.
Annoying. But Cliff, what was the one thing that sold out at the booth first? It was this
Oh,
book.
man. Are you guys... Oh,
Okay, this
man.
book, first of all, weighs more than I do.
Yeah,
They
you
used to
gotta
say-
have 2 hands to carry that.
They used to do some research on kids who were going to high school and they had a bad back at the age of 16 because they were carrying too many textbooks in their backpack. Remember that?
Yep, I
oh,
remember
all
that.
the kids have scoliosis. There's an entire generation of
And
kids
why
with
do
a
they
bad
have
back.
scoliosis? Because they got rid of
Hi.
lockers.
And here's the reason why. This is it. This baby in your backpack is a tome.
And
It's
Cliff,
a
open up the
heavy
first
thing.
few pages.
Look at this. Middle Earth from script to screen, co-written by Kelly Rice
And
and
autographed.
Daniel Falconer. Oh, look. Justin, did you buy a copy of this?
I did.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is what you got. Sir Richard Taylor, Oscar winner Richard Taylor, to sign this. And
Knight
you got
of
Kelly.
the Order.
So good. And pretty soon you'll get Daniel to sign it as
And
well.
I got all the artists that were at Weta. I had them sign the page of the work that they're
gosh.
most proud of. So there's a bunch of random pages in there that
Really?
are autographed because of the one shot or the one scene or the one character that they worked on, what they're most proud of, they ended up signing.
Oh, that is so
So the guy
really
that
sweet.
sculpted Sauron's helm, he signed the page for Sauron.
Wow. Oh, here it is. Look, you have a signature here by the Green Dragon Inn. The production manager.
Okay, so I
Pretty
have a
cool.
question for
Pretty
everybody.
cool.
What's the one thing, I'm sure there was more than one thing, but what's one thing you want to share that you learned at Comic-Con?
That I learned?
Something that you learned.
Wait, in general?
Oh, please.
About
I turned my
Could be
brain
about
off the
anything
whole
happening
time.
at
I didn't learn
Comic-Con.
anything.
What did I learn? I learned from many people in the know that a lot of the rumors that we've been getting about the Lord of the Rings are very accurate, and a lot of them are very, very wrong.
Okay.
What did we get wrong? Do we have to talk about this now?
There will be for a future episode.
Oh, no.
But-
What did
but
we
we
get
don't- we don't wanna-
wrong?
I want to
You
be
can't
here
just
for that
leave us
episode.
on the hook
I know.
like that.
No, basically people said, look, if you want to find your center, like, I'll tell you which way. And they were like, tell me stuff and I'll respond. So I'm like, I heard this, not right. I heard this, half right. I heard this, yes, they're in the room.
But you're still speaking vaguely right now. Tell us what he
I
said.
can't, like, I have to.
Oh, are you
I
bound
have to
in secrecy?
verify other stuff.
Keep it secret. Keep it
So-
safe.
Safe.
I don't.
Yes.
Until we hear it from 2 or 3 people separately.
No.
Like, I don't want to spread rumors.
But that's
But
what we
there's
do at
already
theonering.net.
rumors.
We're quite happy to
We're
spread
quite
filthy
gossipy.
rumors. No, I'm sorry.
Just kidding.
Like, Cliff, you were telling
What
us
are we,
at
the Golden
you
Girls?
were telling
Come
us
on.
at the panel that one of our key spy reports during the making of the Lord of the Rings
Yes.
was sourced from one particular person.
There were artists in Weta who should not have been emailing me, who were landing like a little bird on my windowsill telling me secrets. But that was back in 2001.
But it's not just the artists.
We had spies climbing over fences to go invade the farmland where they were filming on location. That's what we did back then. We literally had
Old school.
spies proliferating and climbing over fences.
Before we had drones and things that we could send out.
Yes, that's true. But no, what? Someone else who came and told us?
You were telling us that as a webmaster for Ian McKellen, he was very loose on the lips for a while.
The webmaster for McKellen.com was trying to help Ian find a way to spread secrets without ruining his non-disclosure agreement with New Line Cinema. And Ian McKellen came out with several creative ways to do that. Back in the year 1999, the first picture of Gandalf ever was a silhouette. It was Ian McKellen taking a picture of himself in costume, but only his shadow on the ground. So he got away with it by showing people what his costume looks like without ever showing his costume. And that's the kind of
Loophole.
sneaky, Smeagol kind of sneaky stuff that Ian...
It's a loophole.
and I was working at McKellen.com, more than happy to facilitate, and I was taking all the news I could hear on the side and trying to filter it over to the OneRing.net in little secret ways. And that was my job, actually.
Yes.
Something that I learned
Wow.
at Comic-Con, talking to all of these different shows and stuff, we've realized how many of these shows have no idea where they're going and how to take their series on. If they get picked up for another season, where to take it. They have no end game plan, which terrifies me because Lost. Like, I loved Lost.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
how Lost ended just crushed everything that's good in life. And so then came along this new show called Manifest that they were showing at Comic-Con. And I talked to the producer, and he has a 6-year plan. He has an entire plan. Now, if they get 6 seasons, we'll find out. I was like, but he knows exactly when he brought it to the network, when he pitched it. Here's where it's going to start first season. Here's where it's going to end on the 6th. And here are the highlights in between. And that made me really, really excited for Manifest.
That's
I tell you,
excellent.
the biggest thing I learned from Comic-Con this year is how important the super secret reveal is. For the last few years, I feel there haven't been any secrets revealed. We knew who was coming. We knew what movies were going to show up. We knew that footage would be going to be showed, and then the footage would end up online, either illicitly or officially. But this year, the biggest news out of Comic-Con was a shocker surprise out of nowhere that the Clone Wars was coming back.
That was a
Yeah.
shock.
Yes.
And that
Brilliant.
was the
good
number
news.
one
That was good
hashtag
news.
tweeted during San Diego Comic-Con was hashtag the Clone Wars.
And that was Comic-Con at its best. That
Yes.
something out of nowhere that the fans appreciate, that the fans love,
Oh
that
my
was
God.
kept completely under wraps.
Oh, God, yes.
Like, wouldn't it be wonderful if they announced who was playing Aragorn at Comic-Con? Hall H next year if they brought out Warner Brothers panel or Amazon panel and no one knew who Aragorn was until Comic-Con next year. That's the surprise. Yes. So
Okay.
I think that basically told me that the magic of Comic-Con is still there, and the studios have ignored it, but we need to get back to it of like, give us some surprises. We don't care about footage, you know.
I mean, we do, but not the
But
footage
we're gonna
that they
watch
showed
it at
this
home
year.
anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what kind of footage.
I liked
know?
it when we used to get San Diego Comic-Con exclusive footage that they didn't immediately put on Twitter 2 minutes later, and it was something that we got to take home because this was ours
Yeah.
and we were there for it. And D23 did a great job with that last year. They showed us Infinity War footage that never made it anywhere. Infinity War came out and they still hadn't released that to people, so that was cool.
Very, very cool. The magic of D23 or any of those Disney expos, I've never been. Tell me, like, I can compare WonderCon to DragonCon to Comic-Con, but what is the Disney thing like? I've never been to one of those expos.
Disney, it's interesting because you don't have to camp out for the panels like you do for everything else because everyone camps out for shopping.
Yeah.
I was like, so I like the panels more than the shopping because I like all the big reveals. And they show their entire film slate for the next 2 years. They bring out the cast, they show exclusive footage, and it goes nowhere. And why does it go nowhere? Because every single person, when they walk into the room, including the media, has to lock away their cameras and phones. They give you
Right.
those little lock bags that are like magnetic
right.
clips and whatever.
Yeah,
so
I've seen
no one
those.
has any way of taking the footage, and you all just have to be present in the moment and have this exclusive moment. And
That's cool.
That is the magic of D23.
That's cool, like some of those artists, performing artists and bands who say, if you're going to come to our concert, we're locking your phones away so that you're not going to be doing this through our entire concert and you're going to be present to the actual music. I'm kind of digging that.
Yeah.
I'm really kind of digging that. The
I
best
mean, it's definitely frustrating for like media outlets because everyone wants to get their photo and stuff like that, and they're like, why can't I have my laptop so I can take notes and stuff? But at the same point, it's beautiful.
is the D23 stuff like at the same city every year, or does it move around?
D23 is in Anaheim every other year, and the year that it's not in Anaheim, they do one usually in Japan.
Ooh, okay. And it's always called D23 every year.
D23 Expo. So the next one will be next year, which usually the years that the Anaheim Expo doesn't happen, Disney brings everything to Comic-Con,
Right.
which was this year, and they didn't bring everything to Comic-Con. So that was also very interesting.
Indeed. Do you know what else was a noticeable thing that was missing? Is that there was nothing from the Mortal Engines, which
No.
Peter
That
Jackson
comes
is
out
trying to
this
shepherd along.
next year, correct?
Next year? I
Next
thought it was
year?
coming out this Christmas, or am I
Oh,
mistaken?
this Christmas.
Wait a minute. As soon as Justin comes back, he'll tell us. But I thought that they would have brought Hugo Weaving out and the director, Christian Rivers, because we know Christian Rivers from all of his many years working on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So the fans would have been there for him, but they didn't have it.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because we were kind of counting on, well, I mean, at least I was. I was kind of counting on, you know.
You know what I noticed is that a lot of the studios use San Diego Comic-Con because Comic-Con was where you came and you had your big reveal and all of that stuff. And now, because of this resurgence of pop culture conventions everywhere, they're not limited to only Comic-Con. They're like a lot of them are like, oh, we didn't bring it to San Diego because we're going to New York Comic-Con. You know, and some of them are bringing stuff to C2E2 or Emerald City. I was like, so they're not focused on San Diego anymore. They're just going to go wherever it makes sense around their premiere dates. So maybe that's why it wasn't there.
I brought mine first.
I got mine too.
I brought mine first.
I was going to wear my badge, but, you know.
Yeah, mine has more letters than yours.
No, it doesn't. 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4,
dear.
5, 6, 7, 8,
Justin
9,
can
10,
count.
11, 12. 12.
We're now jockeying for position with our Comic-Con placards.
He definitely has
1,
more
2,
than
3,
12.
4, 5,
Hey,
6,
but
7,
I have
8,
to
9.
say that
60?
Comic-Con was in a transition year. There was no Star
Yes.
Wars. Marvel
Again,
wasn't in
the
Hall
Disney
H.
properties.
Yeah, the hall, like you said, you could walk into Hall H on almost any of them.
Yeah, I walked into the Supernatural panel 20 minutes into
But
Supernatural.
that's how it used to be. That's
You know
how
what?
that's how it used to
If
be.
I had known it was going to be like that, I would have attempted seeing something in Hall H. But for many, many years, I've avoided everything in
Cliff,
Hall H.
do you follow Hall H on Twitter?
Yeah, Hall H.
You would
line
know
at
at Hall
you.
H line and then at Ballroom 20 line, and you can always find out how easy it is to get into the rooms. I've done this for the last 4 years.
That's fascinating. I have not done that. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that they did that.
I
Yeah,
think
so you can pay attention to the camp out, how many wristbands they've handed out, what letter they're on, what panels are currently going. Hall H line on Twitter.
I hope they
Line on Twitter.
continue
That's
on
good.
the trend of scheduling. The scheduling was really good. It balanced out all the crowds. The fact that you could walk into Hall H like you used to and Ballroom 20 like you used to.
That's
I
a
like how
nice
they
change.
separated retrieval of exclusives to like the Marriott next door. What I didn't like is the lottery. Like the lottery to get badges, the lottery to get hotels, the lottery to get parking, the lottery to get exclusives. Like I only got 2 of those things, and it colored my my opinion of the whole
Yeah, I didn't
experience
get any
because I
lottery.
didn't like other than this, you know, I
Test,
didn't get
test
anything else
loop.
I wanted.
Test loop for $39 on your first ride down to San Diego. That solves your parking problem.
What I like the concept of the lottery for the exclusives for the bigger chains because it stops as many people from camping out and it stops that insane line in the morning. So if people just want to come down at 9:30 and walk into the hall, they don't have to get behind 4,000 people that are trying to run to the Funko booth. You know, like
Yeah.
that part I like.
Yeah.
And I did like that they had certain rules on the bigger booths. So the crowds there weren't a lot of like halts on the line. Like traffic kept moving along the aisles a lot more than ever. But I got to say the coolest thing on the show floor at Comic-Con, hands down, was the Showtime pizza robots with Deadpool.
I
Gosh,
can't get
yes.
The
X-Force
music-
out of my head.
You mean the
I
Chuck E.
cannot
Cheese
get
band?
it out of my head.
It's from Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah,
with the
which
Ch-
is
with-
now
with
Chuck
the
E. Cheese. It was
girl.
literally the Showbiz Pizza gorilla and everything. I'm so glad you realized that because it's the first thing I said when I saw it,
Yes.
and it brought back the birthday parties. I was so excited.
It was so cool.
I put that as video of Deadpool's dance party with the animatronics, and most people responded on Facebook rather negatively and said, "That's creepy as hell."
No.
They really did, and they're doing
because
Dolly Parton.
animatronics
That's what
have
Josh
come such a long
said.
way
when he
since
saw
back in
him,
the
he was
day.
all like, "Oh,
That was funny.
I don't like that."
How can you not like Chuck E. Cheese?
How can you not like the resurrected characters from Showtime Pizza that you must have forgotten from the dust pile of your adolescence? And there they are, live on stage with Deadpool going,
I am
That was super cool.
I am so ready for more of that. I hope they
Me
bring
too.
that to New York Comic Con.
Right.
I can't get that song out of
Did
my
you
head.
happen to make
Like,
it
I just
into the
can't.
Deadpool Dream
Working
Suite?
9 to 5, like Deadpool
Yeah.
singing
Working
9 to 5.
9 to 5. Did you make it into the Deadpool Dream Suite?
No,
That was awesome.
what was it?
So,
What?
this was an exclusive thing they did. They took the penthouse, the nicest room in the Hard Rock Hotel, and they redesigned it as if Deadpool would decorate this penthouse. And they actually used real items from his apartment in the movies. They used inspiration from the comics and from the cartoons as well.
That's cool.
And then they had a contest. So it was basically invite only on Thursday and Friday. And on Friday evening, they announced a contest winner. And the winner got to spend the night in the suite on Saturday. Which was, so the suite itself, the bedroom, they redid what they put like a Deadpool comforter and posters on the wall. But the main part of the suite, they had exclusive previews of. So me and Will got to go. And I wore my Her Universe Deadpool dress. And they had, my favorite part was the framed photo of Betty White. and they had Deadpool on VHS, First Wives Club on VHS, all of Ryan Reynolds' movies on DVD. You know,
Oh,
like
that's
Twilight
fun.
was in his bookcase. You know, like it was
That's
hysterical.
fun.
It was really well done. All of the little action figures. They had a stuffed plushie of Wolverine being hung by a rope off of the lamp. Like it was great. It was great.
That's awesome. And it's for no other purpose than to go in and photo op selfies.
Exactly.
Here's-
It was
Oh,
literally
that's
made
cool.
for Instagram, which you can see my photos from the apartment on Instagram. And they, at the end of it, they gave us a unicorn like cosmetic makeup bag filled with cool toiletries. So there was like ocean scented toilet spray and things like that. You know, like
Funny.
Yeah.
Now stop and tell me why Disney/Marvel is throwing that much money marketing a movie that's already been released.
A DVD. It's coming out.
it's coming out. So it's this is actually a great thing. So all the media that got invites, also in our toiletry bag, they gave us 100 promo codes to give away to our audience for, and it allows people to download Deadpool and Deadpool 2 for free. So on
Oh.
August 7th, when Deadpool 2 comes out, follow High Voltage. We're giving away 100 copies of Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
Nice.
Perfect.
I'm going to throw my hat in the
Wonderful.
ring for that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
Did you hear about the promotion that they're doing for that film?
A promotion
What
for
was the promotion?
Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody?
Yep. So they're doing, like, you submit a video of yourself singing Bohemian Rhapsody to, I think, the website or their Twitter or something.
Those toggle things where toggle pieces it all together to create the full song?
Oh,
No,
is
no.
that what they're doing?
It's where your voice will be put into the crowd when they're singing Bohemian Rhapsody in that sing. So your voice could be heard.
So they're going to
Oh.
group edit your voice into everybody
Yeah.
else's voice.
So they're
Yeah,
getting free
basically.
voiceover from all of us.
Yep.
Okay. SAG.
Essentially, yeah.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting. Well, Rami Malek already looks like the living, breathing Freddie Mercury. It's like stunning.
I still think they
It's
should have
stunning.
had Eric Nally do it. He looks like Freddie, and he's got the pipes.
Oh, so they miscast.
I've thought that since the beginning, but it's fine. I mean, no judgment yet because I haven't seen this guy in the role. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll wait until I see the role and then see how I feel. But Queen is very much right here next to both.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Very, very much so. All right, moving on to the Tolkien biography film, directed by Dome Korakowski.
Yes.
We talked to our friend at Fox Searchlight, and she said, I honestly do not know when they're going to release this film. Some of us from the OneRing.net got into an early secret screening.
Yeah, I had to do an entire hosting by myself because you went off to the secret
I'm
screening.
sorry, I was on a secret mission.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to admit out loud that I was there, but I've already blown that. I was there. But I'm not allowed to say anything about how much I really enjoyed the Tolkien biography film. But Nicholas Hoult, who plays
Tolkien.
Tolkien, he plays Beast in the X-Men films, right? He's also very familiar to people in Mad Max Fury Road,
Yes.
spraying all that silver paint in his mouth. Yeah, that was Nicholas Hoult. Yeah,
And About a Boy.
yeah, he's awesome, and he's gonna
You
play.
can't talk about this movie.
I'm
Hush.
not talking about the. Talking about
you.
Nicholas Hoult.
Hush you.
I'm sorry.
You,
I'm
you
not
of all
breaking my
people
NDA.
cannot talk about this movie.
I am not.
But
I'm
we
talking about
can.
Nicholas Hoult.
Yes, we can.
Are you
yeah.
excited about
Oh,
Nicholas Hoult playing Tolkien?
Is that a rhetorical question? Yes.
Are you a fan of Nicholas Hoult already?
I can't. Well, I've seen him in Mad Max, and I enjoyed his work there, but not so much the X-Men. But I've just seen his work there, and it was pretty good.
Here's the real
so.
question, Hannah. Are you a fan of The Theory of Everything?
I haven't seen that movie, and I really want to. Yeah, I know. Shame on me.
Well, that was my setup. I was going to set up the conversation, but you blew it. Never mind. Are you
Yeah.
a fan of The Theory of Everything?
Yes.
Are you a fan of Dead Poets Society?
No.
No? But you do remember the
No.
film.
Yes,
Finding
of course.
Neverland, I like.
I like
Neverland?
Finding Neverland.
The movie is in that wheelhouse, so we're looking good. I'm excited about it. They're going to re-edit the film based upon comments from the early test screening, but it's the first time that the life of J.R.R. Tolkien is being told as a biography film, and
From the studio that just won Best Picture for The Shape of Water.
exactly they just
Fox
won the Oscar.
Searchlight knows what they're doing.
Yep.
And
And they're
if they
taking
get
their
this
time with
movie
it.
right, it could be Oscar.
There's high hopes from
Fox
everybody here.
Searchlight that might
Very
soon
high
be
hopes.
Disney.
Yeah, it's the oh my gosh, this will be
That's
the
right.
only Tolkien thing that's connected to Disney. She's right.
Well, if you know anything about
Which
the
means
professor,
I can finally start covering Tolkien on my Disney Instagram account.
you can.
Okay,
could,
don't you think it's kind of
coincidentally, you could
ironic
do
that
that,
the
yeah.
professor himself did not like Disney, but yet it's a Disney-owned, branch.
Well, we've had this
doing-
discussion before. I think one of the reasons Tolkien didn't like Disney is because his book about dwarves going on an adventure came out in September of '37.
Yeah.
And,
that was when
Disney's
Snow
movie
White had a
about
movie.
a bunch of dwarves going on an adventure
At the same
came
time.
out 3 months later. So they were both in the marketplace at the same time. They were both about dwarves. And guess who got all the notoriety and got special Oscars and it was called the future of fantasy storytelling? It was Walt Disney. So I think there was a little bit of personal jealousy in the marketplace from Tolkien.
The comments that are in Tolkien's letters, if you want to be really specific, is because his book, The Hobbit, was hugely popular. The Hobbit was such a bestseller. It was
So
a runaway bestseller.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
And when Snow White comes out, he had to publicly defend himself and say, my dwarves, with a V-E-S, are not like those dwarfs with an F-S. Seriously, it was linguistic. He wanted to make the
Yes.
distinctions about
Yes, yes.
language and his connections to characters from Nordic and Icelandic ancient poems. He really wanted to be specific. So he had to speak up. And it did come off as being kind of anti-Disney. It kind of did.
Yes.
All
But
I'm
he had to
saying
speak
is
up.
that don't you think it's ironic? Because I totally
Yes.
do.
Don't you think?
Yes.
The whole a century of Tolkien, of fans and the family making sure that Disney doesn't touch anything Tolkien, and through this merger, Disney will own a movie about J.R.R. Tolkien himself.
We'll see about that.
We'll
It
see
is-
about that.
Oh,
Hey,
the irony.
before we go off the show, I just want to give shout out to Jeff Scott, who's a regular on the chat room. He flew all the way from New Zealand to be at Comic-Con. We were able to see him in person. He's in the chat room today.
He is in the chat room. And
Jeff Scott, if you
Hi,
come to
Jeff.
Hollywood, please hit us up. Text Cliff. You've got the phone number scrolling right above our heads.
Yes, Jeff.
ends with
I thought that
Frodo.
Jeff was going to be here today in person.
I know. I guess he couldn't make it up here.
Sorry. He couldn't make it.
Yeah. So
Drat.
other than that, it was a great convention, and I'm really excited. And people in the chat room were asking, what else are we going to do this year? Well, The One Ring will be at Dragon Con with 3 or 4 actual Lord of the Rings and Hobbit actors. Going to be a fun time. We will be at New York Comic Con.
Awesome.
For
Somebody
sure.
asked that in the chat.
Take
Yeah.
me with
Yeah.
So
New York
we're going to
Comic-Con,
do
for sure.
a panel. In fact, we were just sharing our PowerPoint presentation amongst our East Coast staff just yesterday to catch everybody up. So
Can I acknowledge you, Justin, for the excellent job that you did working on that presentation with Kathy, and how nice it was. You moderated the panel exceptionally well. Nobody's given you any credit, but I'm going to give you full credit
I know
for
you
being
do
our
all the
moderator.
talking.
No,
You
were
want your
great.
platform. It's your panel.
You were great, dude.
Thank you.
I did my bit, but you were a great
Were
moderator.
you in the
We need
audience?
that.
Was the panel all right?
Yeah, I was right in front, watching and staring you guys down.
Yeah, it felt really awkward.
Yeah, I know, right? Should have been on the panel.
Yeah. You didn't get.
Yeah.
You were busy interviewing.
Yeah. Everyone and their
A-listers.
mom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you one last thing before you guys actually? We're the audience
Before
right
we-
here is very, very
before we
energized
poof away?
because the more people come in the room, the energy picks up. But when I walked outside the grand ballroom for my panel, I could not believe thousands, literally thousands of people lined up down out the hotel, double back. The line comes back. The thirst among the fandom to get news and good stuff is just amazing.
Because ringers are the best.
Because ringers are the best. And I'm sad that we turned away hundreds and hundreds of people that did not fit into the room. So,
We're working our
programming
way
at
up to
Comic-Con,
Ballroom 20.
We're
and then
out
working
for
our way up to
Ballroom
Hall H.
20 next year.
Oh
yes,
my God!
please.
Could you
Ballroom
imagine
20
if we ended
equal-
up in Hall H? That would be amazing.
Do you? I think Amazon could fill Hall H. Do you think we could get an audience for Ballroom 20?
Yes.
You've
Yes.
been in there. How many seats is in Ballroom 20?
It's somewhere between 2,500 and 4,000.
Yeah.
Possibly
2,500
for
to
our
4,000?
20th anniversary, which is next year. Possibly. I mean, it makes sense because it's 20 and 20.
Do you think Lord of the Rings, because it won't be ready to air next year, they will barely just be filming. Do you think next year they should not put Lord of the Rings in Hall H?
Yes.
But build this slowly. Do not do a mega Hall H thing and then kind of like it's too big.
It would be a
Too
first
early.
it would be a first opportunity to meet the showrunners. They need to have their voices heard
Yes.
as individuals. The
Yes.
showrunners need to be in Hall H. We don't need
And
to
for
see
the
a lot of
people that
content.
always like when you're the people out there watching right now, if you think you don't care about the producers and the showrunners and the creative team going on behind the show, you're mistaken because they're the only ones that can give you answers. Most of the cast do not know what's happening if they haven't filmed it yet.
Yep.
And even if they have filmed it, they only filmed their scenes. They might not have even been given the full script outside of their scenes. Like, you want to hear from the showrunner and the producers.
And I
Indeed.
feel like a not Hall H room where we can have a little more of a face-to-face dialogue with the filmmakers, and get some of that face-to-face action, because Hall H is just a big, 6,000 seat,
Maybe
hall of-
Ballroom 20 would be a good
Maybe
idea.
we can get
Or
Amazon to
Indigo.
do some sort of giveaway for the series but it's our panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they don't need to show any content. They don't need to reveal lots of images. They just need to have the people up there saying, we're steering the ship, and we feel that we're steering the ship in the right direction, and then introduce some of the cast. It could be a light conversation. It doesn't have to be that content heavy.
And
Really.
Cliff, as we wrap up the show, I just want to let you know that I did get an email today. Amazon was at our panel, and they were listening to you very intensively.
No way.
As they should.
No. Are you serious?
So my hunch was right then.
I knew they would be.
People from the Amazon studios were in our panel? Really?
So you carry the weight of fandom.
Don't even. Well, I can only do my best, but I will say this. If you stay true to Tolkien, we're going to be happy. That's it. Bottom line. We are going to be happy if you stay true to the professor. And that might be another conversation for another day. All right, table 3, you're getting rowdy. I love you, table 3. I'm going to say hi. Everybody here at Scum and Villainy, give theonering.net a big shout out and say hi to all the fans online. Thank you. That was very warm and lovely. You guys are awesome. Kevin Smith will be here not too long into the evening. We're going to close off, but before we do, a reminder, you can find us at The One Ring Net on all social media platforms. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Justin, are we still spelling it that weird way on the YouTube channel with the number 1, The One Ring Net?
Indeed we are.
I know. It's just a goofy thing. But look for us, and you can find us online. If you did not get to watch the entire stream tonight, YouTube will have the archive. Chelsea.
What about me?
Where can we find you?
Is this where I plug all of my things?
Where can we find you?
All right, if you want to find me, you can find me on any social media platform at Uncool Rockstar. That's for my personal account. If you're interested in what I cover for High Voltage, you can follow High Voltage on our website, www.iamhighvoltage.com, Twitter at High Voltage Mag, Instagram at High Voltage Magazine, and for all things Disney, Disney Observer on Instagram.
Disney Observer. That's a lot of fandoms. Honey,
I know, I do it all.
You cover a lot of ground. I mean, I find it hard enough to stick with Miyazaki and Tolkien. That's
I do.
Enough.
Well,
That's enough for me.
Miyazaki is Disney, so that also qualifies for.
It had been, yes, it had been, but now it's G Kids.
Yes.
What's left of that is now G Kids, yes. Now, wait, before we go, Justin, don't cut me off yet. Do you think that Studio Panak is going to do a good job being like the next version of Studio Ghibli?
I literally have no opinion yet.
Okay, we'll find out. Mary and the Witch's Flower is on Netflix. If you guys want to get a taste of where Miyazaki's protege went after he did The Secret World of Arrietty and when Marnie was there, beautiful film, check out, that's right, The Witch's Flower, blah, blah, blah. It's on Netflix. And now, before we close, you can find Hannah where?
On Twitter, I go by Cimmerillion28, and on Instagram, I go as Baggins is here. No spaces, all lowercase.
Is it because it took 28 days for you to read the Silmarillion all the way through?
No, 28 is just my favorite number.
Okay, good number.
It's a good number.
Good number. And you can find me, Clifford Broadway. If you look up Ringer's Lord of the Fans on IMDb, you'll find our movie. Check it out. It's still a fun little movie, and I enjoy it very much. And you can find me, Quickbeam 2000, a friend to Treebeard and Ents everywhere, on Instagram, Twitter. Don't mind my political conversation. I get a little salty sometimes, but the real heart of it is fandom, Tolkien fans, and our community growing and coming together. We have a lot to be excited about, don't we? We have a lot to be excited about. So farewell for this week. Until next week, we wish everyone a safe journey home, and remember, not all tears are an evil. There you go, Gandalf wisdom. Hashtag.
Bye, everybody.
Farewell.
See you guys next week on theonering.net, live Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Sayonara.